I have a burning question that I know everybody wants to know, and I don't even know if this is the right question to ask. What's the cost of building a laneway home? Or how would you help people to navigate looking at pricing?
I'll start with, there's a lot of misinformation out there. I'm disappointed with some of the lenders that throw numbers around because they're not up to date. We get asked that a lot, by the way. We get asked, what's it going to cost? We generally put out their numbers. I know curiosity itself, we want to satisfy that as soon as possible, so expectations are aligned. And it's difficult for us because the details change it a lot. But we often use numbers $300 to $500 a square foot, because if you search that with knowledgeable intel on the internet, you'll find the same thing.
Correct.
Qualified, credible, historical numbers coming in through the internet, just a typical search online, will tell you the same thing. It's 300 to 500. These odd individuals that are saying, yeah, I can get a house built for $200 a foot. I'm saying, sign me up. Like, if it doesn't have to be rebuilt 2 or 3 times with the same bad contractor or something, I want to meet this individual.
Gordie and I had this situation yesterday with a client who been told a very low number. And what I'd sort of said was, you need to make sure that everything is included in that number. There's a lot of builders that will say, oh yes, we'll provide, a laneway at so much per square foot. If the number is low, that means that they're not including something. They're not including architectural services. They're not including permitting services. They're not including design. They're not including finishing. There is a way to communicate a number that is feasible and accurate. Gordie and I will always err on the side of including everything, because in the end, when a project is completed, they want to know that, that we were telling them the truth, that we were very factual with our estimates. And we try to be as accurate with our estimates as possible. Right. Unfortunately, if it loses a customer because someone believes that they can get it done cheaper, we do ask them to report back to us on their experience, because we want to understand why it was this other builder had such a low price.
Right.
And I guarantee you, every time they come back, it is going to be something was not included with that price.
I got it. Okay.
I'd like to add to that, if I may, Frank.
Of course.
Okay. Lately, we've had customers that, question that. Is it really? Is it really going to be $295 a square foot for the builder type finishes that I want? Or is it really going to be $450 a foot because I want an unfinished basement? These are questions that come up. And when they drill down and actually find credible contractors, they're coming back to us saying, you know what? You guys are competitive. But I've had 2 recently that said it doesn't change the fact that my budget can't afford it. So 2 things that helped us get a contract signed to the construction phase. 1, 90% of our projects on remodeling and additions, the homeowners are living while we work there. In-house living residents or homeowners are living there while we're working. It is a construction site, so we have to put up partitions. We have temporary walls. We have temporary kitchens in the garage even to help. But we have temporary walls. We can separate the space. My son, Brendan, married with 2 daughters there. He's first to say, I want to do the separation of the space and talk to the little kids about this is a construction zone. So parents and kids need to be aware of it. We have 2 teachers with 5 children in Coquitlam. We're doing a major addition for them. And they said that was a differentiator. To find a home in this housing market for 2 parents and 5 children would be a big lift. And now they're able to stay there and put that budget into the construction. So we're happy with that. The other thing is we get asked, can I do some of the work myself? So we've got one laneway home in Burnaby, right near Boundary. And the homeowner, he realized that was the right budget. We did the foundation. Now we got the lumber dropping soon. So we're evaluating the budget as we go, because we're doing cost plus with him, which is not uncommon. But he's willing to do anything after drywall. In fact, he's there holding a tape measure or a shovel or whatever he can do to help. And we're one of the contractors who will accommodate him as long as WorkSafe BC is compliant. We do everything. In fact, our warranty comes into play, because we have to be very careful with what other people do to the building envelope, structural or other things. We're well beyond the occupancy that we have to stand behind what's done. So that's always considered. But having a homeowner participate, we want to sit down and talk with them. How can we do that safely to the building code and not compromise anything we're warranting? So we can do that. And that's helped us with a couple of projects to make it happen and go ahead for the homeowner. We're very happy to do that.
I think one of the words that I use a lot is collaboration. And, there's so much collaboration happening with the design team. There's so much collaboration happening between Gordie and Trevor and myself and Jacqueline, but also collaboration with our homeowners. There's a lot of homeowners that are very, very nervous about having someone come in and create their home home for them without them having any real say. But we always say, no, this is a collaborative effort. This is everybody involved on paper initially to ensure that we're creating something that they're going to be proud of. But as Gordie said, we're happy to include them in the actual build as long as it's feasible, as long as it's safe for everyone, and as long as it's compliant to what's expected of us.
Right. That's beautiful. And I really resonate with you guys on that. I think that's why I also wanted to interview you guys, because I know customer service and that entire building relationship from concept to completion is huge. And people are raving about the entire interaction they have with you guys. Appreciate that very much. So during the conversation, I thought of a point when we were talking about budgeting. Is contingency fund ever a factor that homeowners should consider when putting together a project like this?
Gordie?
Yes. You know what, Frank? We either put on the contingency fund and we kind of retain that contingency fund with our fixed price contracts.
Okay.
But almost all of our contracts now, all of the bigger contracts are going cost plus, not fixed price. And that's a really nice relationship we have with the homeowner. All of a sudden, we're both on the same side of the fence, looking at the project the same way. What can we do to help you? What can we do to save money? It's an open book, transparent relationship that starts with a Class D estimate early in the design phase. And as the design details are decided and selected by the homeowner, we're able to update that budget to a Class C and then a Class B. It's usually at the Class B when we're plus or minus 5% that the homeowner's saying, take it to the permit phase now. And then while it's going to permit, which means we need engineering and other things, Fred comes in and works collaboratively again on the finishes. We can't make it a Class A estimate until all the plumbing fixtures have been selected, all the electrical fixtures have been selected, the flooring, all the colors have been chosen because they affect backsplash tile, even affects the Class A estimate to a degree. So that's usually done after the permit is in play. And it's nice because there is no contingency. But I do encourage the homeowner, especially at the Class D estimate stage, keep a contingency there, your own contingency, whether it's 5% or more, keep it ready to go because you might want something very special in appliances.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, or extra flat work outside. No, I really want a detached patio with a cover, or maybe there's some extra balcony or something. Yeah, that comes into play. Contingencies can be used and they're very helpful. And on cost plus contracts, that would be the homeowner that would keep that contingency.
That's perfect.